Welcome to the fitness podcast Beyond the Workout, featuring your host, Coach E, where we give you health and fitness tips that go beyond the gym and help you along your fitness journey. So stay tuned and enjoy the show. Thank you for your interest in this podcast, Beyond the Workout. As a disclaimer, anything you hear in this show from me, Coach E, Eric Dunstan, or any of my guests that is related to health, exercise, nutrition is just that. It's information only. What works specifically for you has to be thoroughly evaluated and checked by a professional, either your physician or a professional personal trainer. Okay, enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to another show of Beyond the Workout. It's me, Coach E, with a brief show. Now, this show is going to talk about just two things. Because the last show I mentioned about the scale, the Eros scale, that's a smart scale. And I'll go into further how my progress is going a little later, maybe in another show. But the two things I wanted to talk about is still emphasizing on sugar and your eating habits. And the reason I want to speak on the eating habits is because for the longest time, I've always encouraged and suggested to clients to eat 6 small meals per day. Now, I'm going to start with that one, even though I said sugar was one, and this one was the eating habits. Now, the reason I spoke about eating 6 small meals per day is because I have definitely seen results, and I've seen the results of a young lady that was trying to lose weight, and she struggled, and she asked me questions about, how do I lose weight, and what's the easiest way to do it. And I simply just told her eat 6 small meals a day. And what does that entail? It's simply, you'll get up and you have your breakfast. And the meal has to be small enough that it can hold you for 2.5 to 3 hours. And that's why I always advocated that. It can hold you 2.5 to 3 hours. And then you'll have a snack that can hold you another 2.5 to 3 hours. And then you would have your lunch, and that will hold you 2.5 to 3 hours. And then you would have another snack, and then dinner, and then likely right before bed, you would have something light and to at least help you sleep. Now, she tried it, and it was amazing. She lost the weight. And the reason I know it is she wasn't super heavy or anything, and I didn't know the details of any condition she had. I just gave her this suggestion. I didn't know if she had any health problems or anything. So it wasn't a full evaluation. I just told her I have seen this work in the past. And and I hadn't seen her for a while. And I saw her a few months later, and she had lost a significant amount of weight. And I asked her, well, how did you do this? And she said, I ate 6 small meals per day. Um, and the hard part about that with a lot of people, you'll say that you're busy. You don't have enough time in the day to just sit down, stop, and eat. And I understand that. You really have to plan this because even on your busiest day, and this is what I told her, if you were in a situation where you just couldn't find the time to grab this one snack or fit this, hit those times just right, but you do it anyway, then you can do this. Then you have it down pat. And that's what happened. She said she had a busy day. It was a long day. She wasn't sure how she was going to get this snack in, and she did it. She got her meals in. And from that point, she had the confidence that she can get it done. So I'm going to retract a little bit on that. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because this might not be for everyone. My mother-in-law did it, and she lost weight, and she wasn't on any, specific type of uh, healthy eating plan or diet. It was she had cancer, and she was doing this, I think, based on a suggestion of a clinic that she had gone to, and basically every 2.5 to 3 hours she ate something very small. Now, like I say, it wasn't something healthy, it was just food. She just took in whatever, and she lost the weight. I don't know if that was her goal, but she felt better when she did lose the weight because it took the pressure off her knees and she could walk better. But the reason I'm retracting on that, because as you all know, I listen to a lot of functional medicine uh, doctors and their information, their suggestions. And in the way our environment is changing now, you really have to go and search for quality foods and maybe have to supplement your meals. But it's interesting, the body can be different, can react different in certain situations like that. So, for example, if you try to eat six small meals a day, you might actually be stressing your body out, you know, and especially mentally, you'll be stressing yourself out because you're probably kind of thinking about what to eat and when to eat, and it can be very stressful. But the reason I had recommended the 6 meals a day, because for like the first week or two, you would follow maybe setting a timer. But amazingly, and this is what has happened to me, if you just eat the small meals, your body will remind you. You wouldn't have to set a timer. For instance, like I eat at breakfast at 7:30, and I'm at work, and I s- I I feel a little hungry, and I look at the time and it's 10:30, and it's just my body reminding me, hey, you had something then. It's time to have something now. Now I've been doing this for years, so my body is used to it. So I want you to really know your body before you even try this. But listening to functional medicine doctors, there was they've done studies and found out that that really didn't work for a lot of people, eating six small meals. In fact, it didn't allow the body to go into a state of rest. So I don't want to force this on anyone. If you wanted to try it, you can. But what I want you to do is think about how you feel throughout the day, and definitely get your breakfast in, get a snack in, and get your lunch in. But you'll be amazed that from the time of lunch to dinner, you might not feel hungry. And if you try to eat, you might end up forcing yourself, force feeding yourself, and that can be stressful. So, what they mention is the body, the gut in itself needs time to rest. It goes to what is called a cleansing process, because the food has been digested. Now you sit for hours without consuming anything except maybe water, and it allows the body to rest and cleanse out. And they recommend it like 5 hours. So think about it. If you ate lunch at noon or 1 o'clock, and then you didn't eat dinner until 5 or 6 o'clock, there's your time that you took to allow your body to rest. So consider that instead of trying to force feed yourself 5 to 6 meals a day. Listen to your body, see how you feel. And particularly for those of you who are over 50, like me, going and you're over 60 or 70, you want to make sure you eat quality foods, healthy foods, but you don't want to stress your body by eating too much, and it's not digesting fast enough, it's not processing fast enough, and it's actually being a stress to your body. So that's the one thing I wanted to come on and encourage you to uh, have a little bit of variety and know yourself. And that's a suggestion. I still suggest 6 meals a day if you can, but it's 5 or 6 meals a day. I really say that that 6 meal might not work because it's just before bed, and it is recommended that you don't sleep or go to bed with food in your belly because your body never rests. But the next thing I want to pivot to is sugar. And the show before last, the one before the scale, I emphasized about eliminating sugar. And the reason I say this is because sugar can have some weird effects on your body. Sometimes you might feel like foggy. Like I told you, I felt brain fog. You might feel like you lack energy. But one thing I noticed with consuming a lot of sugar, and I might not have my facts correct, but I can only speak for me. I am a sugar addict, sugarholic, whatever you want to call it. I have a sweet tooth. And for years, I've always tried to outwork a bad diet. And I would feel like, oh, I can go in there and I can have my sugar and this and that and still get my workout in and it'll compensate for it. But technically, it wasn't. Because what happens if you don't burn the sugar, you store the sugar. And where do you store the sugar? In your fat cells. Now, you can't tell the sugar, I want you to store in this part of my body, fat cells, and that part. It's going to settle based on how you're genetically made up. And a lot of guys hold a lot of belly fat, and sugar can store there. If you don't burn it, you're going to store it. So, what I want you to consider is really start reducing the amount of sugar you're taking in, and then start to see how you're feeling. And I was listening to a functional medicine doctor that warned about going being drastic about this, because sugar in its healthy forms, like healthy carbohydrates, I mentioned sweet potatoes, and yams and certain forms of rice, those things, quinoa, those things could be healthy carbohydrates for you. You can eat that, consume that. It does turn into sugar in the body, but it's that slow burning energy which your body really needs. The one thing you want to be very, very careful about is liquid calories, and especially drinking your sugar. And so I had spoken to this was many years ago. I spoke to a personal trainer, a guy who was just starting out on his personal training business. And I was talking to him about, hey, I'm trying to be careful how much sugar. And he just threw out this number. He said, if you see on the label, it's a uh, single digit grams of sugar, that's fine. And what he meant is if it said on the bottle or the label 9 grams or less, 8 grams, 7 grams, 6 grams, that's fine. Well, that was his mindset, his theory. So he was trying to say if it says anything like 10, 15, 20, don't consume it. Again, that's a lot of work when it comes to um, trying to get through a busy day and trying to not be stressed over eating. Just you're going to eat some things that have sugar in it. I do recommend the lower the grams are better, and not having liquid sugar. I mean, here's what I mean. I mean the sodas and the juices. You'll see in them they'll say some will say maybe 25 grams of sugar. And I was just at a Trader Joe's, and the guy had a soda. Not going to give the brand, but the soda on the counter. And I told him, I said, I want to educate you on something. And I want to educate you all on this too. His soda had, I think, 77 grams of sugar, I think. Uh, Let me just show you. Let me show you two sodas right now. Look at this picture right here of this soda, and just looking at the grams of sugar. I just want you to see how many grams of sugar this has. That's 72 grams. And then the next one has 59. So I just want you to look at the grams of added sugar. See there? You see that? Okay. I usually, when I consume something, like it might be I get this drink called Ollie Pop. It's supposed to be a probiotic drink, and it might have 5 grams of sugar in it. And I always wondered, I would say, okay, 5 grams shouldn't be too much. And I never researched what 5 grams of sugar was. So when I was at Trader Joe's, I told the guy, I want to educate you on something. And I asked him, how much, how many, I guess, teaspoons, I asked, was 5 grams of sugar? How much is 5 grams of sugar? That's what I asked him. He said he didn't know. Um, and I didn't know either until I looked it up. And it was 1 teaspoon right here. See that picture? 1 teaspoon. But interesting, it says 1 rounded teaspoon. And he said, wow, that's a lot of sugar. 1 rounded teaspoon is a lot of sugar. You might could put that in your coffee and not even taste it. But it could be, depending on your body, it could be a lot of sugar. But remember, his soda has 77 grams. So let's just go back to those two I just showed you. One had 72 grams of sugar. Now, if you think about that, how many teaspoons of sugar would that be? 72 grams of sugar. I put a graphic right here. That's how many grams. It was 14.4 grams. I'm sorry, 14.4 teaspoons, rounded teaspoons of sugar. And the 59 was 11.8, I think it was, grams of sugar. Now, I want you to think about this. What does that really mean? Just imagine you had a bottle of water, and I'm going to have my 5 grams. So there's a teaspoon laying right there. Okay, I got to take that teaspoon and pour it into my bottle of water. Whew. Shake it up. There's my sugar water. That's my Ollie Pop as I drink. But now when you want to have that soda I just showed you, let's say that the 72 grams. Now you have a bottle of water, and I'm going to bring you 14.4 teaspoons. And you got to take each one and pour it into that bottle. For each one, 14.4. Shake it up. And that's what you're going to drink. Now imagine, I want you to think about that when you drink that. You're probably thinking, ooh, that's nasty. But what is your body doing with that? Now, I don't know what kind of exercise you have to do to burn that sugar and make sure it doesn't store in your body, but I would assume a lot of exercise. I remember reading a story where it mentioned about eating a Big Mac, and somebody said the article said when you consume that Big Mac, you would have to literally get on a cardiovascular piece of equipment for in excess of 3 hours to burn all the calories you just consumed right there in that one meal. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I can tell you this, all of that sugar that you might consume in one drink, it's going to be hard to burn it off. And so this is why I really emphasize trying to eliminate sugar, and especially that liquid stuff, because you probably might have body fat. You might be storing body fat. You might have this strange feeling, this fogginess like I had. Now, I don't want you to go cold turkey, but I want you to keep this show in mind. I want you to keep that graphic in mind. Anything you consume in a liquid form of sugar, what is it doing to your body? Processed foods, ultra processed foods that are made up of a lot of sugar and their nutrients have been zapped right out of them. What are you actually doing to your body? So as a fitness coach that would encourage you to eat healthy, I want you to meditate on that and think about eating healthy for the majority of your 7 days. Because like I told you, it could be a mental stress if you try to go cold turkey and strict forever. And I'll tell you, this a friend of mine, she did great. She had lost weight. She was looking great. And all of a sudden, she gained weight back. And I asked her, I said, what happened? You were so gung ho about it. And you were so into doing this. And she said it was too much work. It wasn't worth it. She said it was very stressful. So I'm going to let you know, don't stress yourself about this. Be wise, be healthy, but be balanced healthy. And so here's what I mean. I can go 6 days, starting Sunday, go through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and pretty much eat a my 5 meals per day and have my snacks. But I can almost guarantee you when that weekend hits, there's going to be a little bit of sugar. There might be some plant-based ice cream in there. I try to avoid breads and pizzas and sandwiches and things like that, burgers and all that. But if if my wife had a burger and I wanted a little piece, I would have a little piece. And also during the week, if I had this inkling of dark chocolate, like I usually get the dark chocolate covered almonds, I will have some. I will not deny myself that. But I'm going to tell you this, the next day, I'm going to get my exercise in. I exercise 6 days a week. I break my exercises down into small chunks, 6 days a week, and I'm going to get it done. And maybe on another show, I'll emphasize that about going beyond the workout by thinking about your workout and making it a part of your mental schedule. We won't go into that now, but I just wanted to come in and talk about those two things and encourage you to be balanced in your eating habits and, eat healthy snacks too. When I say have your snacks, but know your body and how you feel. If you can't do the 5 to 6 meals a day, I want to just say, don't do it. Think about that moment between lunch and dinner. It might be between breakfast and lunch. You can't get that snack in. It's fine. It's fine. Just don't let your body get into this starvation mode. Take care of your body, give it its food, and eventually I'm going to talk to you about supplements. But before you do any supplements, know what supplements you need. I spoke on a previous show, one of my previous shows, about maybe doing a vitamin panel. If your doctor would let you do one. But there's another panel you can do that I can encourage you to try out with your DNA. I do DNA testing, and I can speak to you about that on another show. But at this one, I just wanted to come in and encourage you to uh, uh, consider your eating habits, spacing your meals properly. Uh, don't just snack throughout the day, because even if you did that, if you're just constantly snacking throughout the day, um, like every hour or every half hour, again, you're not letting your body rest. You're not letting your gut rest. You're not going through that cleanse mode. So consider that. And also consider starting to reduce your sugars. And I'm going to tell you this, stop sodas. Get off of those sodas. The commercials are emphasizing this. You don't need it. You can get away with water. And if you wanted to add a little flavoring to the water, be careful of what you add there too, because not all artificial sweeteners are good for you. So that's it. Coach E just wanted to come in here and do this show to hopefully provide encouragement for my contemporaries, those over 50, over 60, over 70. And, if your young folks are listening to this, you want to share it with those that you know and love that are in this age range that want to consider how to start taking care of their health, getting better. Share this with them. And I hope this was encouraging to you all. I love doing my podcast. I get in here and I get inspired from listening to things that are encouraging to me, but I can only speak for what's happening to my body. And hopefully that you can get to know your body as well and start getting healthy and feeling better. Okay. That's Coach E signing off now, telling you to be wise, stay healthy, make great choices. Take care.